Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and thanks for tuning into my third episode. So today we're going to be talking about the difference between the subconscious mind and the conscious mind. Now, when you are using your subconscious mind, you're not thinking about what you're doing. So when do we use our subconscious mind? The basic thing I can think of when you use your subconscious mind is when you're tying your shoes. You don't think about tying your shoes, you just do it. And when you're learning for the first time how to tie your shoes, you actually think about turning it into a knot and doing the loop-de-loop. And that is part of the conscious mind. Now, let's try an exercise. I want everybody to grab a piece of paper and try and sign your name. You do this subconsciously. You don't think about signing your name, you just do it. So here I'm going to go ahead and just sign my name real fast. And what I want everybody to do once they sign their name is I want you to try and trace over your name like I'm doing so now. And notice how difficult it really is. Notice how I kind of made a mistake there on the A. You make mistakes while trying to consciously do what your subconscious mind can do 20 times better. And why are we doing this? The reason we're doing this is because the conscious mind is not as powerful as the subconscious mind. When we're doing something, we want to be able to do it subconsciously so that it happens right away. Now, in sports, they say, people get in a zone. And that getting in that zone, they're phenomenal. They go off. An example is when, in basketball, someone throws 30 points and they say, man, that rim, there was no rim. It was just going to go in all day long. That rim could have been 6 feet wide. Yeah, that's the way they felt. That it was every shot they shot was going to go in. In baseball, they felt that their bat was 3 times bigger than normal and that they hit the ball perfect every single time. They just were focused and they weren't thinking. That's the biggest thing. When you do a sport subconsciously, you're not thinking and you perform at your best. In football, you don't think of mechanics. You don't think of, oh, my elbow needs to be here, it needs to be focused in this direction, and I need to throw the football perfectly in order for it to get that far at that person who I'm trying to throw it to. It doesn't work like that. You just have to think about it, see the person, and throw it. And subconsciously, you know how hard to throw it. You know how fast to throw it. You know how good to throw it. And you have to do it subconsciously. And that is the best way to perform, through the subconscious mind. Now, through practice, you have to do things consciously in order to create good nerve memory. You have to be able to concentrate and focus on the conscious mind. And when I say this, in golf, what I like to do is I like to put myself in positions where I feel that this is the correct position on this part of the swing. The top part of the position, I want it to be here, and so forth and so on until I hit the follow through. Now, as I go through my swing, I am consciously thinking about where I want my body to be. And by thinking consciously and doing it correctly, and not just willy-nilly, doing it correctly, I am subconsciously imprinting in my mind the correct path. And that is creating good nerve memory, like we talked about in my last episode. So, the more you practice a skill consciously, the easier it will be for it to become a subconscious act. And that is what we're trying to get to, for all your actions in your sport to become a subconscious act, so that way it's easy to perform. And how are we going to do that? By thinking of the act, the conscious side of sports. And that is how we get to the subconscious act. And that's what we're going to go ahead and talk about next week. Hope y'all tune in and hope y'all enjoyed this episode. See you next week.